Welcome to the Genetic Genius, the podcast where we explore the incredible world of genetics, health, and wellness. I'm your host, Dr. LuLu, and today we have an enlightening episode in store for you. In this episode titled Gut Health Unleashed, From Leaky Gut to Supercharged Digestion, we'll be delving into the fascinating realm of gut health and its impact on an overall well-being. Joining us today is a renowned expert in the field, Prajakta Apte, a registered dietitian, registered yoga teacher, and a true authority on gut health. Prajakta has dedicated her career to the practice of functional medicine and helping individuals struggling with digestive issues. With her holistic approach, she believes that good health truly begins in the gut. Through the healing power of nutrition and healthy lifestyle modifications, she guides her clients on a journey of reconnecting with their gut and achieving their health goals. During our conversation, we'll uncover the secrets behind leaky gut, discuss the significance of detoxification, and explore the transformative potential of probiotics, prebiotics, and postbiotics. We'll also shed light on the intricate relationship between stress and gut health, unraveling how our mental state can profoundly impact our digestive system. Prajakta firmly believes in treating the root causes of health problems rather than merely addressing symptoms. She emphasizes the importance of a balanced diet and healthy lifestyle approaches, enabling individuals to establish a harmonious connection between their mind and body. So get ready to embark on a journey towards optimal gut health as we unleash the wisdom and knowledge of our esteemed guest, Prajakta Apte. Welcome, Prajakta. I am so excited to have you here today on the Genetic Genius.
Thank you so much, Dr. LuLu. I am so excited and happy to be here as your guest, and I can't wait to get started.
Yay, I'm so excited for our conversation as well. It's going to be a great one. But before we dive deep into the gut, I'd love for you to talk a little bit about yourself, just your background, so the audience can get to know you a little bit better, and really about what kind of inspired you to do what you're doing today.
Absolutely. So I am Prajakta. I am the registered dietitian and I am a gut health expert. I am based in Phoenix, Arizona, and I have a private practice. I work very closely with people who are struggling with digestive issues, from chronic constipation to leaky gut to SIBO to IBS, and I help them put their gut health back on track through the healing power of nutrition and healthy lifestyle modifications. I strongly believe that treating the root cause is going to get you feel better long term, and that's how it will improve your overall quality of your life as well. Now, thinking about where I am today, there's a little bit of story behind that. And of course, when I started my private practice, there was no niche for me. I was just taking everybody who is basically walking in my door. But then a few years back, my husband started to experience some digestive problems. And initially, we tried doing few things, home remedies, you can call it as, and it didn't help. So he started seeing different doctors. Many doctors he saw, they ran a bunch of tests on him. Everything came back normal on the labs,
Right.
but he was not feeling well. He knew that something is wrong, and typical symptoms of bloating, unable to improve muscle mass, some belching, low energy. He thought that he was looking very puffy, and we could literally see that his face was blowing up as a moon. So we knew that something is going on, and that kind of inspired me to get into this area. So I started my own research. We, of course, found a functional medicine practitioner for him who was very helpful and who literally helped him put his gut health back on track. But on the side, I started my research of what must be the wrong with him. And that's how I went into digestive health, gut health problems, and learned about how gut health is very important and how gut health is the seat for many different medical conditions that person can deal with and how it can impact your overall health. And that's how I learned a lot of new things about this area. And I decided that this is going to be my expertise. And I did few certifications, did more research. And of course, I continue to read and learn every single day because this area is so fascinating. And there are research coming out every single day and some new information comes out. Learning has never stopped for me. But basically, the way that he was dealing with problems, and it triggered me to look more into this area. It was very fascinating. I loved it. And that's how I started working with people who are struggling with digestive issues.
That's great. What a fascinating story. I love how you found something that you could help your husband with, which is so nice, you know, and so needed. I think a lot of women and men with their partners, we see our partners suffering from some type of ailment, and sometimes it can be challenging, right? Sometimes to help our partners with health.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I love how that kind of sparked your own health journey and helping others, right? So that's fascinating.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Yeah.
Love it. Let's start our conversation today. I love for us to really talk about leaky gut because I think that's a conversation where people don't really understand even what it is. So if you can talk about what it is, the term leaky gut means, and why is it really such like this hot topic that you see, you know, out on the internet or pictures on TV, media, those types of things?
Sure, absolutely. It's a great question. And I get this question all the time, even from my clients. Leaky gut, which is also known as increased intestinal permeability. Of course, it's a clinical terminology that you will read and see in research papers. But leaky gut is a common term, and it is a condition that affects the lining of your intestine. So normally, the cells in our intestine, they are tightly packed together, and they form a nice thick barrier which allows only the nutrients to pass through into the bloodstream, and it prevents the entry of harmful substances from entering. But when someone is dealing with leaky gut, the lining of the intestine becomes more permeable. It becomes leaky. It forms big gaps, which means the tight junctions between the cells, they become loose. And this allows larger molecules such as toxins or undigested food particles or even some unwanted substances, bacteria, to pass through the intestinal wall and enter into the bloodstream. And what happens after that, when these unwanted substances, they enter in the bloodstream, your immune system sees them as a foreign invaders, and it triggers an immune response. Now, this immune response can cause inflammation in your body. It can lead to various issues such as different digestive problems. Person can develop food sensitivities. It can result in developing autoimmune conditions and even some mental health problems. Leaky gut, definitely, as you said, Dr. LuLu, that it has become a hot topic in recent years. And what I feel is many studies have shown how leaky gut is negatively affecting the overall health. People also have started to believe that it plays a big role in development of various chronic health conditions. And I feel that with today's lifestyle, the eating habits, people are relying more and more on processed foods. They have a busy, hectic lifestyle with a lot of stress. People have literally no time or very minimal time to pay attention to themselves. I feel that more and more people have been even diagnosing with leaky gut. It may not be an official diagnosis, but the type of symptoms that they're dealing with that indicate that that person may have a leaky gut. And because of that, this topic, in my opinion, has gained a lot of interest, or people are wanting to know more about it, learn more about it. And that is why it has become a hot topic. That's what I feel.
Yes. Oh, great. The great explanation. Really clear. I always think about a hose when I'm thinking about leaky gut. When you have a hose in your garden, you get a little hole in it and then it starts to leak out. That's what I'm always thinking when I think about leaky gut. All that great water is like leaking out in a way you don't want to.
Yeah.
Same with our body, leaky hose. And when you were
Correct.
talking about too some of the aspects of being like this quote unquote hot topic, what are some of the symptoms that a person might be experiencing out there, listeners, that they might be like, oh yeah, that kind of sounds like maybe what I'm going on. Maybe I do have leaky gut.
Sure. And again, I would say that each individual is different.
Right.
So a person may experience different kind of symptoms, but definitely I'm going to list few, and it will most likely mean that you're dealing with leaky gut, but there are, of course, some testing available that can confirm whether you are really dealing with that problem. So a person may experience some of the digestive problems, such as bloating, gas, or abdominal pain or discomfort. Person can even experience some diarrhea or constipation. Now, this is mainly due to the lining of your gut, which is not functioning properly. It can impact your digestion. It can also interfere with the absorption of nutrients. The other symptom that I can talk about is person may develop food sensitivities. And some people with leaky gut, they develop food sensitivities or they develop intolerances towards certain foods. And this is mainly because, again, the larger molecules from the undigested food particles can enter into your bloodstream. It can trigger an immune response, and it can lead to symptoms such as headaches or maybe skin rashes, or people may have extremely low energy and feel tired all the time, whether it's physically or mentally. So that is another symptom that I would like to share. The third one that I wanted to share is certainly a person can experience very low energy or even non-clarity of their brain, what we call it as brain fog, right? And leaky gut might contribute to feeling of fatigue or low energy, whether that's physical or mental energy. Your immune response triggered by the presence of these larger molecules, which can lead to inflammation and impact your overall energy level. People will also experience some muscle aches or some joint pain, and that is, I feel, that is mainly due to the inflammation that is caused in the leaky gut, which can impact your joints, your muscles. It can lead to pain or just overall stiffness and discomfort in your joints.
Yeah,
the
those
last
are great.
The last symptom that I would like to talk about, and I have seen that in many of my clients as well, is skin problems. Some people who are dealing with leaky gut, they report skin issues such as acne or eczema or rash that will come and go on its own. You will always deal with these type of problems. The connection between your gut and your skin health, there's definitely a connection between that, and it can, when your gut is unhealthy, it can lead to inflammation and can have a negative impact on your skin overall. So these are some of the common symptoms that I would definitely want individual to pay close attention to. I have seen these type of symptoms with my clients also who come to me with digestive problems.
Those are great, Prajakta, really key honing in there on those specifics. And you can see there's a lot of overlap, which we'll talk about today too, because that's the thing. When it comes to digestive issue, we can see a lot of overlap. And that's why functional medicine testing can be very helpful, or food sensitivity testing, like you mentioned, to really see, okay, what's going on in the body. And having that low grade inflammation, like you mentioned, can definitely cause fatigue, because cortisol is our inflammatory hormone response, right? So we're going to see that cortisol increase, and that can cause a lot of problems downstream to other hormones and adrenal fatigue, and etc. Yeah, it can be systemic, and so that can lead to a lot of different issues for patients
overall. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely, it's all tied together.
Right, totally. Yes, the gut affects every piece of our body, which we all know that, but I think sometimes we forget.
Exactly. Yeah.
So let's talk about the toxicity piece about the gut, because you talked about some of the toxins leaking out from the intestine into the bloodstream. So First of all, can you talk about what a toxin is? What would that, or what particle would that be? That would be a toxin that might be leaking into the gut, or a toxin that could be contributing to gut toxicity that then leads to an overall overload, right? Where someone is just so toxic. You mentioned like that puffiness earlier. If you could talk about some of those things, I think specifically because we live in such a huge toxic world and environment, right? Everything is affecting us.
So certainly, as we already talked about what leaky gut is, this barrier which is not looking healthy and forms a big gap between the cells where the tight junction is not tight anymore. And through these big gaps, the undigested food particles or any type of toxins or any bacteria can leak into your bloodstream and causes the inflammation, which can eventually lead to systemic inflammation. These things will definitely cause overall inflammation in your body. And definitely that can have problems like you feel puffy, or you retain more water in your body, or you have difficulty losing weight, gaining muscle mass. Those will be the signs, or just some pain. Those are all the signs that indicate that you have inflammation. And of course, this toxic buildup and inflammation can put a lot of stress on your liver, because liver is the major detoxifying organ. You're giving too much of work for your liver to do, which can become sluggish and cause more problems. So you basically, your body starts to retain these toxins inside you rather than getting it out. So there are many different contributing factors to that. It doesn't happen overnight. As we all know, this is a process and it takes time. For some people it could be few days, for others it could be few weeks, few months, to even few years, but nothing happens overnight. So if you can pay close attention to what your body is telling you, you can actually prevent all of this. It is completely under your control, is what I always tell my clients. And I'm sure Dr. LuLu, you will also agree with me on this.
Yes, totally. And when we're talking about toxins, I'd love for you to talk a little bit about bowel movements, because I think that's a big piece of what's going in and what's going out. What if someone is, let's talk about constipation, and what does that look like for someone? How often should someone be having a bowel movement? And what is that, if not, how does that increase their toxic load?
Okay, so again, maybe if we get help from Dr. Google, we will get different answers, but I'm going to go with what I feel. What is constipation? Constipation is when you are unable to use bathroom at least once a day, okay? Do not have a healthy bowel movement that looks like a banana or a snake. If you are seeing some small pellets in the toilet bowl, in my opinion, that is a constipation. If you have to put a stress to get your poop out, that's a constipation, in my opinion. If you feel after using the bathroom that you have not eliminated 100%, that is a constipation, in my opinion. Definition of healthy bowel movement is when someone uses bathroom anywhere between 1 to 3 times in a day, and it's an easy to come out bowel movement, you don't feel an urgency and you don't want to rush to the bathroom, that is a healthy bowel movement. And it looks like a banana or a snake, as I said earlier. It looks healthy. You should not be seeing any type of food in your poop, and in my opinion, that is a healthy bowel movement.
That's great, Prajakta. And I think that's really key, because I'm sure in your practice, like I do in mine, many of my patients have a history of bowel movements, which completely affects the toxic load of the gut. And when those toxins are staying in the body, you could think of it like a sewer system, right? So if they're staying in the system, that sewer is just continuing to overflow into the body. And so I think that's a big piece. And does that have an effect on the leaky gut? Is it correlated, having constipation? You mentioned there was diarrhea and constipation in the beginning. So it sounds like it is correlated.
It is definitely correlated. In my opinion, pooping is a great way that our body get rid of the toxins. And that's why going to the bathroom every single day is extremely important, all 7 days a week. I'm sure you have experienced this as well, Dr. Lulu, but there are some people, patients or clients coming to me and they say that, no, but I go to the bathroom just twice a week and that's normal for me because I have been this way since my childhood. That's not normal. Start to think that it is normal, but it is actually abnormal thing. If you are not using the bathroom every single day of the week, that means you are actually accumulating more and more toxins in your body, and that can certainly increase your toxicity. It can affect the overall functioning of the body. It can cause more inflammation in your body. Definitely leaky gut has a role to play in that. Certainly fixing the leaky gut, making sure that you are making every effort to use the bathroom every day by eating more fiber in the diet or getting movement every day. So being physically active, in other words, keeping yourself well hydrated, reducing stress. If you are dealing with any type of stress, practicing stress management techniques is very essential because stress can also play a role in constipation. So it's not just about diet or it's not just about physical activity. You need to make sure that every little piece of this puzzle is at the right place so that things will be basically moving smoothly.
Yeah, so the gut, the peristalsis of the large intestine is working properly, right? So things are moving through. And you mentioned before the bloating and abdominal pain and cramping, all of those can be associated with as your body's trying to move that stool out. It has a very challenging time. And I think that's a great kind of segue. So we're talking about the toxin overload, right? As the large intestine and other aspects of the body are overstimulated with toxins. What are some practical tips that our listeners could start doing in their daily life? You mentioned a few around the constipation, but really for reducing that toxic load, because I think that's a huge piece where people are really, they can feel a difference when they really start reducing their toxic load. And how do they do that to promote the healthier gut environment moving forward?
Absolutely. Great question. And again, in my opinion, not one single thing will help you keep your toxic burden under control, but you need to work with every little piece of this puzzle. So eating a well-balanced diet, the diet that is high in whole foods, so staying away from processed foods with added color, added flavorings, food that is made from white flour, all those foods will not be a good idea. But getting whole grains in your diet, whole foods, lots of variety of fruits and vegetables. So not just the limited fruits and vegetables, but try to get all different colors of fruits and vegetables in your diet. If you have heard the term eat like a rainbow, which means get all different colors of the rainbow on your plate, try to eat at least 6 to 9 servings of fruits and vegetables together, including lean proteins in your diet. And healthy fats are very essential. So healthy fats in the form of raw unsalted nuts or salmon, which is a good healthy fish, tuna fish. You can have avocado, use of olives or olive oil in your diet. All those things will definitely get you some healthy fat that our body is always craving for. And definitely reducing the sugary snacks, artificial sweeteners, artificial additives, which can cause a lot of burden on your gut overall and can contribute to toxin buildup. So stay away from packaged food. I am not going to say that completely stay away from it, but at least minimize it. Whenever you can, go with the fresh produce or go with foods in its most natural form. That's what I would like to say here. Then the next, go ahead. You wanted to say something?
Oh, no, that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. The next thing I would say is keeping yourself well hydrated. And that can be done by drinking plenty of water. And water is what I would like to stress, because I have heard people say that I don't like the taste of the water. Can I replace my water with fruit juice? Can I replace my water with some artificial sweetened water? And my answer to all of those questions is no.
That's
so
a big
drink
no.
plenty of water.
Big
Exactly.
capital N, capital
Yeah.
O. No.
Absolutely. If you don't like the taste of the water, you can flavor your water naturally by squeezing some lemon juice in it, or adding some mint leaves, or maybe cucumber slices or apple slices to flavor your water naturally. But water is extremely important. It will help you get rid of the toxins from your body. It helps body's natural detoxification pathways to do their job better, which will help your kidneys, which will help your gut to have a regular bowel movement. Or when you pee regularly, that's the way you get rid of the toxins. So drink plenty of water to support proper digestion and elimination, and hydration flushes out toxins. So the aim is to get at least 8 glasses of water per day. And of course, it will depend on the what time of the year you are in. So like season, so summer will be, body's requirement for water will be a little bit more. Once you get all your water in, and if you feel like having a little bit of juice or something, I would say it's okay to do that. But first is water. You cannot replace water with any other beverage. That's for sure.
Love that. And that's so true. I think I hear that a lot from patients. Oh, I'm drinking some flavored water, or I'm drinking tea, or I'm drinking coffee.
Yeah.
It's not the same, because your cells have to have water to be able to move things in and out of that cell membrane, and for detoxification. And without that, we're not going to have the detoxification pathways open. And I think that's a really big piece. And also drinking filtered water, not drinking tap water, which has chlorine, and because it's just like you're drinking a toxin. Your body has to then process even more. So yeah, I love that you brought that up. Yeah, so important. And water is really key. And I love doing like a water challenge with patients, even with myself, because I know, and you live in Arizona, so you even have to drink more water because you're in such a hot climate. Yeah.
Yes,
so individual.
for sure.
And I think that people really notice, right? When you drink a bigger amount of water, they're like, oh, I feel energized.
Definitely.
I feel my bowels moving. I feel less inflammation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
What do you,
absolutely. Absolutely. I tell people that if you go to the bathroom and if you see that your pee is colorless, like it has no color, that means you are well hydrated. As soon as it starts to change the color, that means your body is slowly getting into dehydration.
Right. Yes, exactly. Want to be filtering things through the system. Good for the kidneys, good for the liver and the large intestine. Yeah, so important. I love that you brought that up. Thank you so much. So as you were talking too about food and the nutrition that's so important to eat, let's talk about probiotics and prebiotics. So I think this is a great, almost confusing point for a lot of people, like understanding what's the difference? What's a prebiotic, a probiotic? What can I do to get them naturally, right, as a place from food specifically? But let's talk first about the probiotics and pro, and post, as a way for us to lay some foundations there.
Absolutely. Probiotics, prebiotics, and postbiotics. And I'm going to explain that individually what it is. But all these play a distinct role in our gut health overall. And probiotic, prebiotics, and postbiotics, they actually work together synergistically to support the healthy gut environment. So let's see one by one what it is. So first, I'm going to talk about probiotics. And probiotics are the live microorganisms, mainly bacteria, that are beneficial to our health, and they give all the good benefits when they are consumed in adequate amounts. They are often referred as good bacteria, and they play a major role in keeping the balance in our gut microbiome. It inhibits the growth of harmful bacteria. It helps promote diversity in the microbial community in our gut, and it also supports various aspects of our gut health. Now, probiotics, they also enhance digestion of our food, absorption of nutrients. They help improve our immune function. It is important for us to get the probiotics in our diet. Now, there are widely available as supplements, but I definitely promote the natural sources of probiotics. And those will be commonly found in fermented foods like yogurt or kefir or sauerkraut or kimchi, fermented vegetables. So try to get these foods into your diet on a regular basis in order to add more good bacteria into your microbial community. Now, moving on to prebiotics, and prebiotics are equally important. Many times people will only know about probiotics because of a lot of probiotics in the store, in the
Right.
supplement form. People only think about probiotics, but prebiotics are equally important too. And prebiotics are actually non-digestible fiber or compounds that serve as a food for the beneficial bacteria in your gut. So essentially, prebiotic is the food that probiotics are looking to eat and get stronger. And that's why you need both. You need prebiotics and probiotics. Many times I've heard this from my clients that, hey, Prajakta, I'm taking a really good quality probiotics and I'm spending like $100 a month on it. And on the other side, if you take a look at their diet history, they're not including any prebiotic and any fiber-rich foods into their diet. I tell them, you are wasting money. You're literally wasting $100 down the drain every month. Because if your diet is not high in fiber, those probiotics, whether you take it in the form of supplements or natural food, they are adding zero value, absolutely no use. So prebiotics are very important. They help promote the growth and activity of the beneficial bacteria. Prebiotics they act as a nourishment basically for probiotics. They support the growth of beneficial bacteria. Prebiotics contribute to healthy gut microbiome. So definitely prebiotics are equally important, and you can include in your diet whole grains or onions, garlic, leek, artichoke, asparagus, chicory root, raw bananas, or plants. These are some of the great sources of prebiotics. So make sure that you have both in your diet. Now, moving on to the postbiotics, and basically postbiotics are the byproducts of the metabolic activity of probiotics in your gut. So when probiotics ferment prebiotic fiber, they produce various compounds such as short chain fatty acids, vitamins, enzymes, and even some other bioactive substances. So basically, you have good bacteria in your gut. You eat a prebiotic food, which is essentially the food for the probiotics. These probiotic or good bacteria like to chew on this prebiotic food, and what they produce is called short chain fatty acids or different types of bioactive substances. And these byproducts are called postbiotics, and they have their own health promoting effects in your gut and even in your overall health. For example, short chain fatty acid such as butyrate, which is a big one, it helps to nourish the cells that are lining your colon, supports your immune function. It helps reduce inflammation in your body. So postbiotics are equally important. And if you are eating right amount of prebiotics and probiotics in your diet, you are naturally going to produce sufficient amount of postbiotics, which is a byproduct of these two. In other words, postbiotics are naturally generated within your gut. And basically, when the probiotics and prebiotics interact with each other, what you get is postbiotics.
That's great. What a great explanation. Thank you, Prajakta, because I think it's complicated, right? And I loved how you talked about the specific foods that can help activate each of those categories. Maybe not the postbiotics so much, but I think it's really important for people to understand how important it is. And you really highlighted the piece of if you're just taking a probiotic and you're not getting prebiotic foods or taking a prebiotic, then your probiotics are really not doing the job that you want them to do. And some of them can be very expensive, right? And so you don't, like you said, you don't want to be flushing those right out of your system. Is there a specific time? One, do you need to take them with food or without food? If you're taking a probiotic, do you need to take them at a certain time of the day? Like, is morning better or evening? What's your opinion about that?
My opinion is you can take it with food for sure. In my opinion, probiotics in a supplement form, they will work better when you are eating it along with food. But when it comes to the natural food sources of probiotics and prebiotics, I would recommend you to include in every meal that you eat, a prebiotic and a probiotic. And when it comes to fermented vegetables, you really don't need a lot. Just 2 forkfuls of sauerkraut or 2 forkfuls of some pickled beets should be in doing the job.
Nice, great. Yes, I love that. And I always recommend from my patients, if they have a lot of digestive issues, especially from that mental health category, right? We're talking about maybe they're having anxiety or depression when they're in that nighttime and they're resting and digesting with parasympathetic. Sometimes I can find it to be very helpful for them to take that probiotic at night, right, with dinner. So that way they're really helping their body during that nighttime in that resting phase to really have it be key for working. And then also, if someone's looking for probiotics for the brain for improving cognition, sometimes that can be more helpful in the morning because they're looking for something to engage the brain. So having it with food. And like you said, yeah, taking it with food, really great because you want to encourage the digestive aspect. And what if you have leaky gut, like you talked about before? Are those probiotics just going to fizz on out through the bloodstream?
Okay, here is my opinion on that. And I feel that when someone is dealing with leaky gut, before you start taking a probiotic, it is very important for that individual to repair and heal the lining of the gut. And once you start with that protocol on the side, you can start taking a probiotic. But many times people have a misconception that just by taking probiotics, all my gut issues, including leaky gut, is going to get fixed. And
instantaneous, right?
yeah, and that is not that true. It is a big myth. Repairing and healing the lining of your gut is extremely important to feel better 100%, to find long-term results 100%. So that is a very critical step in your gut healing process.
Oh, yeah, that's good. And what are some of your favorite supplements you use for repairing that gut lining?
I like to go with, again, it is very individualized. And
right, but overall.
Correct. The overall, definitely fish oil is a good one. Glutamine is what I recommend. Glutathione is sometimes recommended. I like to go with licorice root. Short chain fatty acid supplements are important as well. So those will be some of the key ones that I feel will be beneficial.
Yeah, those are really great recommendations. I love glutamine. I see that's what I think I see the most because it's repairing that gap junction, like you mentioned, really great for going in and helping repair leaky gut issues. And also I like that it comes as a powder because I think when we're taking something, when we have leaky gut issues or other issues in the gut, we want to help our gut to have to do the least amount of work as possible to get it into the system.
Exactly.
So powders can, and like you mentioned, the licorice, that DGL can be so helpful for soothing that irritated gut lining. So those are great ones. Exactly. Yes. Let's switch over. Yeah, totally. Let's switch over our conversation and talk about stress and the gut, because you mentioned it earlier, and I want to make sure that we have some time to talk about it because there's so many people that have stress. And I think the most common thing we hear about is IBS, right? When there's even kind of cartoons and movies made about it, which are not really funny, but I think that people that understand that the most. But let's just talk about how chronic stress specifically, not just acute, but specifically chronic, really affects that gut health. And then let's talk about some stress management techniques that our listeners might be able to start implementing right away.
Certainly, first of all, I would like to say that stress has become a part of our life. I don't think there will be any person out there who can confidently say that I have zero stress. We all have stress, and it is important for us to manage that stress without affecting our health. And that's what we all need to learn. So certainly, I feel that chronic stress can affect your gut-brain connection, and gut and brain are connected through a pathway called gut-brain axis. And when we experience any stress, the brain sends signals to the gut, leading changes that happen in the gut function. And this can include increased sensitivity or changes in your gut motility or alterations in your gut microbiome. So stress can definitely impact that gut-brain connection. Chronic stress can also result in gut barrier dysfunction. So it can weaken the integrity of the gut barrier, which can lead to leaky gut. We already talked about it. This means that lining of your gut again becomes more permeable. It allows substances, unwanted toxins to leak into your bloodstream and cause inflammation. So the chronic stress can affect your gut barrier dysfunction there. It can result in imbalanced gut microbiome. Stress can disrupt the balance of the gut microbiome, which refers to the community of bacteria and other microorganisms in your gut. And this imbalance is known as dysbiosis, which can negatively affect your digestion, the absorption of nutrients, overall your immune function, and your overall health. These are the three areas that I feel that stress can have the most impact on. Now, talking about the stress management, and as I said, that it needs to be a part of our daily routine. You should not only practice stress management when you feel you have a lot of stress, you have a big deadline coming up, or there is someone in your family who is not dealing well with their health and you are under stress. You should actually make sure that some type of stress management technique becomes a part of your daily routine. And there are more than one that you can follow. There's no one right technique or something. Whatever you enjoy, whatever works best in your schedule is what you need to pick and stick to it, is what I would say. Some relaxation techniques such as deep belly breathing or meditation or mindfulness, and these practices help calm your mind. It helps to reduce the stress levels. It helps to reduce the stress hormone, which is cortisol, that is usually elevated in your blood when you are under stress. I would say regular physical activity or exercise can also keep your stress level under control. And that could be walking or jogging or even yoga, some stretching. It gets your stress level down. It improves your overall well-being. Exercises also release endorphins, which is a natural, good mood boosting chemical in your body. Then the third thing I would like to talk about is healthy lifestyle habits. So healthy habits such as getting enough sleep at night. So getting at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep, developing a good sleep schedule, getting all electronic devices turned off before you go to bed, and maintaining balanced diet, staying well hydrated. All these habits can support your overall resilience with stress, and it can contribute to better gut health. You can get some social support, seek support from your friends, your family members, or join any support groups if you don't have a close family around you. Sharing your feelings and your experiences with others can also help decrease your stress, and it will give you a emotional support that you are looking for. Some type of hobbies and relaxation that you can engage in. If you enjoy listening to music, or if you enjoy reading or gardening or painting, whatever hobbies you enjoy and you feel that it relaxes you, it gets your stress level down, you should periodically practice those. And these activities can also help distract from stressors, and it also promote the sense of relaxation.
Yeah, those are great, Prajakta. I think that we're learning how important it is to have stress reduction techniques or stress hygiene, really, and practicing them throughout the day, especially if you have a lot of digestive issues, learning how stress affects you, how it affects your digestive system in a positive way and maybe in a negative way too. And I really liked how you brought in all those pieces about really easy things to start having in your daily life to really notice. And I love to have my patients to keep a log when they're starting these new lifestyle techniques so they can see,
Absolutely.
especially with the digestive, okay, list out some of those symptoms that you might be having, whether that's bloating, cramping, diarrhea, constipation, all those things we mentioned before. And then when you're
Correct.
starting those new stress management techniques or lifestyle
Mhm.
techniques, how do those then affect your digestive system? So you can really start to figure out what works. We're our own
Yeah.
encyclopedia
Mhm.
or test subject, I guess is a better word, right? And that's the only way we know
Absolutely.
what works.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I think keeping a log, whether it is keeping a symptom log or keeping a food log, keeping an activity journal log, I think that is very important. It may sound too much of work, but you will realize when you see data on a piece of paper or on a spreadsheet that what things you could improve on or what things you have done it in the right way, and that way you can make changes. So I'm a big advocate of keeping logs.
Yeah, I love my patient portal system for that because it allows my patients to put user logs or add journal entries to their logs straight into the system, which is great. And it's also now connecting with Apple Watch, which is really wonderful for people to be able to have that data go keep track.
Correct.
It's like having that quantitative and qualitative data that really allows us to see what's working because we're just trying
For
things. We
sure.
don't know if it's working, then what's the point, right?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yep.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yep.
So I'd love for us to talk about root cause of health problems because I think we've talked a lot about kind of symptoms today, right? Things that might be experienced. We also talked about the real causes of digestive issues, but from that root cause perspective, how do then, because you're such a great nutritionist, does that balanced diet, right? Eating those foods that you talked about and the healthy lifestyle practices, how does that then really start to shift optimal digestion in a real root way?
Okay. Of course, the balanced diet, the healthy lifestyle practices, they all play a crucial role in positively influencing your gut health and achieving optimal digestion. And again, if you feel that you do not have 100% healthy lifestyle practices that you follow, it can change. You take one step at a time and you believe in yourself. You have a positive mindset around it so that you don't feel pressure about it. Because I understand that it is hard to change your old habits, especially if you are doing certain things in certain way since your childhood. So it is
Right.
hard, but when you start to realize that this is the habit that is not helping you anymore, or it's rather causing more problems with your health, it's definitely time to change it. And you don't need to work with everything at once, but you can just take one step at a time, take a deep breath, and don't feel pressure about it. So definitely diet is very important. Providing essential nutrients in your diet by eating a well-balanced diet, which is rich in variety of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, healthy fats, is extremely important. These nutrients will support the proper functioning of your digestive system. It helps to promote the enzyme production. It helps with nutrient absorption and overall your gut. Definitely going with basically foods in its most natural form, which I have said in past, and staying away from processed foods or foods that comes in a package. So when you are in the grocery store, shop around the perimeter of the store and try minimizing your visits into the aisles, because that's where you're going to find most of the processed foods there. Fiber is very important in your diet, fiber for digestive health, and including adequate amount of fiber in your diet. It promotes with the optimal digestion. It helps with your constipation. Fiber adds bulk to your stools, so it helps with easy bowel movements. Easy bowel movements, regular bowel movements, which means you are keeping the overall toxic burden under control. Fiber also acts as a prebiotic that we have already talked about. So providing nourishment that your beneficial bacteria are looking for, it helps to support the overall healthy gut microbiome. And naturally, if you're trying to keep the intake of processed foods minimal, you are going to get more fiber in your diet. Now, make sure that as you are adding more fiber in your diet, you're keeping yourself well hydrated, because if you have enough fiber in your diet, but if you're not drinking enough fluids, water, you can experience constipation again. So staying well hydrated is very essential for optimal digestion. Sufficient water intake helps soften your stool, making it easier to pass. It also supports the movement of food through the digestive tract. It prevents constipation. So adequate hydration is the key in maintaining the overall gut health. Managing your portion sizes. And I feel that is also equally important, because practicing portion control, eating mindfully, can definitely have a positive impact on your digestion. Just because you're eating healthy, you cannot ignore how much you're eating, or it doesn't give you any permission to use like big, huge portions. You still want to monitor your portions, and overeating, even if it's a healthy food, can certainly strain your digestive system. It can lead to discomfort and bloating and indigestion, gases. So make sure that you're watching the portions. You can eat smaller portions, but maybe 4 to 6 times in a day, which helps with definitely putting less stress on your digestive system overall. Make sure that you're paying close attention to hunger or even fullness cues that your body is trying to tell you. And believe me, our body always try to tell us something. Majority of the times we ignore that, we don't pay attention to. So definitely make sure that you're eating mindfully, not having conversation on the phone, or not keeping your TV on, or not scrolling through the social media, because that all results in mindless eating. The other thing is healthy eating habits. Healthy eating habits such as chewing your food thoroughly, taking small bites of food, or eating in a relaxed environment, not rushing when you're eating, or not driving when you're eating, avoiding distractions such as your TV is on, or you're talking on the phone, or you're on the social media. Chewing your food is very important, because that's the beginning stage of our digestion process. And chewing thoroughly helps break down the food. It starts the digestion correctly. It helps the saliva mixing well with the food that you're chewing, which starts the process of digestion in a right way. So eating slowly, mindfully, making sure that you chew your food really well, all these little habits are actually important for optimal digestion and absorption of nutrients. So that is very important. And these are little things, but they often get ignored. And that could be even one of the root causes for some of the digestive problems that you're dealing with. Pay attention to all of this. The other thing is regular movement or physical activity. Engaging in regular physical activity promotes healthy digestion, healthy absorption of nutrients. Any type of physical activity stimulates your muscles in the digestive tract, which helps with the movement of the food throughout your digestive system, and it can prevent the constipation, and overall gut motility improves when you are physically active on a regular basis. We also talked about stress management, but I would again like to highlight that chronic stress can negatively impact your digestion, your gut health, your overall health. So practicing stress management techniques on a daily basis is extremely important, whether you prefer to do deep belly breathing, or meditation, or engaging activities that you enjoy, such as some hobbies, or any type of activity, even social work for some people, which can help reduce your stress level overall. Stress management definitely plays a big role. So incorporating these healthy practices can certainly help you maintain your gut health, or if you're dealing with gut problems, it will definitely positive steps towards the gut healing process.
Great. Yes, that was a lot of tips out there. So we can go back and listen to that again if you need to get a little recap there, because there was so much juicy information. I really liked how you talked about, one of the things that I loved was talking about actually processing your food and chewing, because we eat so fast. Having that mindfulness component is so important, because if we're eating, that's what we mentioned earlier about seeing undigested food in your stool, right? That's that piece of really chewing. And I think it's in the macrobiotic nutritional plan or diet. They say you should chew each bite 50 times, which I don't know that we all have time for that in our lives, but maybe you're doing something consciously around that, right? Okay, like you said, not being on your phone, having meals with your family. Those are really important. So I love how you brought those up. And those, like you said, bringing in those little simple things can really help us to optimize digestion. And from digestion, like we talked about, it rolls out into all the other aspects of our health, which is so great.
Definitely. And again, as you said, even if it says in the books and in research papers that you need to chew your food 50 times, I really don't know whether everyone is doing it, whether we have time to do that. But I always tell my clients that chew your food until you get the applesauce consistency in your mouth before you swallow. Yeah.
So out there, listeners, try that tonight and see how that changes your digestion. Prajakta, let's wrap it up today. I'd love for you to, we're going to have one last question, but I also want you to talk about, you have a wonderful Cleanse Me 5-day whole food detox coming up in July. So let's talk about that.
Yes.
And then also, let's talk about that first. Let's do one thing at a time. Why don't you tell us about that?
Okay. I am launching a Cleanse Me Whole Food Detox. It's a 5-day detox challenge or detox program, whatever you want to call it as. And it's going to be in the last week of July, starting July 24th, which is a Monday, and ending that week on Friday. It is going to be entirely online, and it is going to be done in a Facebook group. You can join me for that, and I'm going to give you the exact guidance, step-by-step framework to follow the detox, and you are going to see some positive results after following that 5-day detox challenge. I'm sure if you're dealing with any type of symptoms like gas, bloating, constipation, or joint pain, or just overall inflammation in your body, it's going to help you reduce those symptoms and definitely help you improve your sleep, energy level, just overall digestion and absorption of nutrients as well. Certainly join me for that. I would love to help you get started on the right track.
That sounds great. Love it. So that's going to be July 24th through the 28th, and we'll have the links for registration in the show notes so everyone can find that. And tell us about, you have a great, one of your favorite blogs is What You Need to Know About Brain Health. Tell us a little bit about that blog post.
Okay, I have this blog post on my website, so you can certainly visit my website, rightnutritionworks.com. In there, you're going to see some free resources, and under that, there is a blog section. You can click on that and get to that blog, and I'm sure Dr. LuLu will also send an exact link so that you can get to the blog directly. But I have explained a connection between our brain and gut, and how brain and gut are connected, and how poor gut health can impact our brain health, as well as how brain can affect our gut health. So it's a two-way direction communication. And if something is not working, whether it is brain or your gut, and how it can impact the other organ of your body. So definitely do read that post. I have also shared some tips in order to improve your gut-brain connection. Definitely, it's going to be very informative, and I would really like you to read that blog post. I'm sure you're going to learn a lot from it.
That sounds great. Yes, we will post that link in the show notes. And then one more thing, you have a freebie, a Fix Your Gut freebie. Tell us about that for our listeners.
Sure. So I have a free guide that you can download. It's called Fix Your Gut, and it is definitely going to be a good starting point for you to put your gut health back on track. I know when someone is dealing with gut problems, you're confused, you don't know where to start. Some people are telling you to do this, and your neighbor is doing this, and he or she's finding the results, but you're not sure whether that's going to work for you or not. And you definitely need some guidance around it, because if you get the guidance, if you get the exact framework, the structure that you can follow, it will be very easy. It seems easy. You will be confident on making changes. So certainly download this guide, and it will give you the exact framework to follow to put your gut health back on track. And there's a link that will be shared in the show notes, and you just download the guide and you will get access to the guide right away. Yep.
Wonderful. I love those. Thank you for sharing those with our listeners. Those are really great to help them get their gut back on track. And so tell us how people can find you. You mentioned your website, the rightnutritionworks.com. What about on social media? How can people find you on Instagram and other social media sources?
Yep. So I am on Facebook, and you can look for Right Nutrition Works, facebook.com/Right Nutrition Works. I'm also on Instagram, and my Instagram handle is @Right Nutrition Works. And I'm there daily, not like 24 hours, but definitely daily, sharing my tips and some practical ideas that you can implement right away. If I'm learning anything new, I would like to share that with my audience and with my followers. So certainly check out my pages on any of the social media platforms that you're on.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. One last question as we're wrapping up today. If you had an unlimited budget, what would you do right now to have the biggest impact on the health and welfare of our planet?
Wow, that's a good question. I would like to, if I have unlimited budget, I would like to help people who are lost in their gut healing journey, who are trying for years to put their gut health back on track. And I know there are people out there, like, in fact, I spoke to one of my clients, possible clients, I would say, yesterday, and she's been dealing with digestive issues over 20. So I would really like to help those people, especially with all the testing that is out there, which will help them get to the root cause of their problem and which will help them walk on the right path of healing journey.
I love that, Prajakta. That's wonderful. And I think that if we can help, one gut at a time, we can heal the planet.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Thanks again for joining us today. I loved our conversation, and I can't wait to share it with our listeners.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I enjoyed chatting with you, and certainly this is going to be a good one for your listeners, I believe.
Yes, thank you so much.